Today I'm returning to a book from my spotty youth days. This is yet another book that seems to have been released in the wake of the success of Star Wars and Close Encounters, and everyone realized that science fiction was the thing. And yeah, so this is Alien Creatures by Richard Siegel and J.C. Suarez. On the back, it says how, the book is full of mutants, blobs, crawling and creeping visitors, superheroes, superminds, super bullies, low budget invaders from Mars, TV aliens, Wookiees, stormtroopers, Jawas, Tusken Raiders, the Last of the Jedi Knights, Hawkmen, Sharkmen, Rockmen, and Clay People. All right. And up here, it was £2.95 and a soft cover original. And yeah, this came out in March 1978, and mainly black and white, but it has 32 pages of full color illustrations. And yeah, it seems this is yet another book that was quickly released to cash in on the boom of science fiction. And the reason I like this one, and the reason I've kept this one all these years, is the book tends to focus mainly on uh, the 30s and 40s, the 60s TV shows, 50s B movies, um, and the serials, rather than things that are or would have been more in recent memory for the creators of the book, like Space 1999 and Star Trek, etc. Of course, you've got to have Star Wars on it, but as you will see as we go through, yeah, there's a heavy emphasis on things decades um, before the average reader, I think, of the book would have even been born. So let's have a go through. As I say, mainly black and white. And what I found really interesting, and bam, we got it straight away, is I think this was my first um, introduction to images from certain things, such as the hideous creature there. All right. Um, there were already books out about science fiction and horror, and I'd already gotten them. But this is again an unusual mix of things. So yeah, um, Georges Méliès's drawings for how the Selenites should look from Trip to the Moon is in here. We have Francesco Goya of Saturn eating a child. You don't expect to see that in a book about alien creatures. Not really an alien creature, but he's in here. All right. So, yeah, as it says here, extremely rare shot of the xenomorph in its true form. And of course, this is long, long, long before the internet. So, whenever an image came along that was comparatively rare, you would focus on it. First nod to Star Wars is a small black and white photo of a Tusken Raider alongside the invader from Mars. Um, and as I say, a lot of the imagery, I think this is no, I think there's one more photo from Close Encounters, but Close Encounters had only been out a year, and yet it gets a small black and white photo, and it's not even a UFO or an alien. I know there is an alien coming up. Right, so some of the pages I've uh, I've marked with a post-it note. Actually, I'm going to keep that one there because it's worth returning to this. This obviously is Flash Gordon, and it says Flash Gordon battles a hybrid of Mars, painted by Gogos and Warren. Come back to that in a minute. That might be ringing a bell for some of you. Oh, there's another Close Encounters. Again, small, black and white. This is really good. Dave stood still with the script. Very unusual. Love the poster work. A little exclusive for you. I've just started building a Robbie the Robot. He'll be along once some bonus parts from America have arrived. These are great as well. I think this is my first exposure to weird fantasy and the, uh, the pulp magazines of the 50s and 60s, which we didn't get over here in the UK. Or at least I was never exposed to them. So it was really good to see all these brilliant illustrations. Right. Yeah, we are truly in a colour section, but now we're coming out of it. And Flash Gordon and Descendants, yeah, that thing that I'm talking about is coming up soon. I think by now I had seen Flash Gordon, the Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon, you know, uh, summer holidays, BBC Two in the mornings. So we'll go through. There we are. Now, look at this image here, which is Flash faces death again at the hands of a malevolent Martian. Look at that image. Swing back to that image. Compare and contrast. Quite shameless. I'm going to have to hold the book like this, I think. Right. Oh, let's go through. Good old Leonard. I think this was the first time I'd actually become aware that there were Supermans before Christopher Reeve. And of course, this book was out just before the Christopher Reeve Superman. So it's a really good snapshot in time. Second photo from Star Wars. Flash Gordon alongside Han Solo. As I say, it's an eclectic mix. Barbarella. What is odd about some of the captions here? Let's look at this one. I don't know if the authors had actually seen Star Wars by the time they were putting this book together. I mean, they know that that's a land speeder. They know that's a Ralph McQuarrie pre-production painting. Yeah, Invasion Earth, 1950s style. Brilliant stuff. Of course, it doesn't matter that it's all in black and white here, because they're black and white films. This is really good, how you could take a still and then transform it into poster art, give it a tweak. Very interesting. There's a number of those here. I don't know if I've already skipped one. Brilliant. Paul Blaisdell, of course. One of my all-time favourite films there. Shame they're in black and white because that was glorious in colour. Low budget invaders. Ah, there's a good a page that I've saved for you. I mean, look at this. Amazing, amazing. I love them. This might be where the start of B-Movie Monsters. Oh no, it wasn't. It was that Dennis Gifford book, wasn't it, from like '72, which I reviewed quite a few years back. Yeah. Attack of the Crab Monsters. Yeah, I was very interested in this image, and then finally I got to see it, and yeah, it didn't build up to all the speculating that I had done. Again, another good example of how you take a still and tweak it and transform it into a poster. Best poster ones coming up. I think this may have been my first exposure to Georges Méliès. Fell in love with the imagery from it, still love it now. Yep, there's Robbie. It's a shame these aren't in colour because I'm going to need decent colour reference photos for what I'm going to be doing inside his dome there. There you are, War of the Worlds in colour. Again, never saw these on the spinner racks at the newsagents. So, yeah, here we are. Finally a nod to Star Trek, which was only out 10 years before and had been in syndication and repeats over here in the UK in the early 70s, but you don't get much. But what you do get, yeah, I remember studying these. And then, yeah, I mean, they're all publicity photos. There's no action shots or anything from Star Wars. I guess they were limited by what Lucasfilm had released at that point. Quatermass. And again, yeah, you've got Star Wars and then you get the man who fell from Earth. But the whole thing of the book is alien creatures, so why not? Here we go. Here's the aliens from Close Encounters. Finally get a look in. They look really quite sophisticated when alongside James Earl Jones and friend there. Right, Tube Aliens. I think I've missed the poster. I'm going to have to go back at the end to the poster that I wanted to show you. Now there's an image on the next page, and I know it's on the next page because I used to read this book a lot, and it took me right back to being the 5-year-old me and having the crap scared out of me. And it is this, the Golden Man from Lost in Space, which horrified me when I was a 5-year-old. I've done an Effectively Speaking on that story. It is horrific. This Carrot Man is horrific, but for a completely different reason. Used to love Lost in Space. Me and Ian might have to do a Lost in Space in character. I think this is the only shot from Land of the Giants, and it's not the most inspiring, indicative photo to represent the show, is it? More Lost in Space. That worried me a lot, that image. And when you watch it, it's still a disturbing creature. So we're nearly at the end. Dan Aykroyd in a book on alien creatures. The only nod to Space 1999 is this one. Oh, and Peter Cushing just there. No Eagles, no Moonbase Alpha. But it is alien creatures, but come on. There were more memorable aliens than these two. And yeah, we're getting afterward with Seventh Voyage of Sinbad for some reason. And Flash Gordon. And ending on Marvin the Martian. And why not? Right, I will end on... Here he is. Why have I missed this? How did I miss this? All right. Yeah, it was back in this colour section. This is so sweet, and it's like you could not get away with it these days. And it's this poster here for Robot Monster. All right. But it says, when Robot Monster appeared on the bottom of a triple bill, its retouched poster stated that they actually came from Mars. Right? Look what they've done. They've covered up Robot with parcel tape and then put another piece of parcel tape underneath and hand drew from Mars. That's how you turn Robot Monster into Monster from Mars, with 2 bits of parcel tape and a marker pen. Brilliant stuff. So sweet. And that's it. That's the book. It's another impactful one. It's another one that I pored over and just studied the imagery, because back then, 1978, you had no chance whatsoever to see what 80-90% of the stuff that's in that book. No way would you get to see it. Now, anything, I guess, anything, any image in that I can easily buy or access online. But it meant a lot to me when I was smaller, and that's why I've kept it all these years.